Jake Morrison was flying his usual route from Los Angeles to Denver when the sky changed. He had been a pilot for 15 years, and he had never seen anything like it. Dark shapes appeared above the clouds, bigger than any aircraft he knew. They were not planes or helicopters, they were something else. Denver Tower, this is Flight 447. Do you see those objects above the city? Jake spoke into his radio. The control tower did not answer right away. Flight 447, we see them. We don't know what they are. Please hold your position. Jake looked down at Denver. The city spread out below him like a giant map. 2 million people lived there. His daughter Katie was one of them. She was 16 and went to high school downtown. Jake felt worried. The dark shapes moved lower. They were huge, each one as big as a small city. They had no wings, but they floated in the air like they weighed nothing. Strange lights glowed on their bottoms. Dr. Lisa Carter was working at the CDC office in Denver when her computer started beeping. Disease alerts were coming in from all over the city, but these were not normal diseases. The symptoms made no sense. People are getting sick very fast, her assistant told her. They can't move. They just lie there. Lisa looked at the reports. In 30 minutes, thousands of people had the same strange sickness. They were not dying, but they could not move or speak. Lisa had never seen anything like it. She went to the window and looked up. The giant ships hung in the sky above Denver. As she watched, beams of light came down from the ships. The beams were wide, covering whole city blocks. General, Frank Hayes was at the Pentagon when the call came in. Sir, we have a situation in Denver. Unknown aircraft over the city. They appear to be hostile. Frank had been a soldier for 30 years. He had seen wars and fought enemies. But when he looked at the satellite pictures of Denver, he felt cold, fear. The ships were not from Earth. Get me everything we have, he ordered. F-22's missiles, everything. We need to protect that city. But it was already too late. Amy Rodriguez was a smart 17-year-old who loved computers. She lived in Denver with her parents. When the ships appeared, she was in her room working on code. The power went out, but her laptop still worked because of the battery. Amy heard screaming outside. She looked out her window and saw something impossible. People were floating up into the air. The light beams from the ships were pulling them up, like invisible hands lifting toys. Her neighbors, her friends, everyone on her street was rising slowly toward the giant ships above. They could not move or fight. They just floated up like they weighed nothing. Amy grabbed her laptop and ran to the basement. She had to figure out what was happening. Ben Tucker was a police sergeant in downtown Denver. He had seen many bad things in his job, but nothing like this. The strange light, beams appeared all over the city. Wherever they touched, people stopped moving. Then they started floating upward. Ben tried to help, but he could not get near the beams. His police car would not start when he got too close. His radio did not work either. Whatever was in those beams, it stopped all machines. We need to get people out of the city, he told other officers. But most of them were already gone, pulled up by the beams into the waiting ships above. The harvest had begun. Jake Morrison watched from his plane as Denver disappeared below him. The beams of light covered more and more of the city. People, cars, even buildings were being pulled up into the alien ships. His hands shook as he tried to call his daughter. The phone did not work. Nothing worked near those ships. Katie, he whispered. His daughter was down there somewhere. She was one of the millions being taken. The military jets arrived, but their weapons did nothing. The missiles exploded against invisible barriers around the alien ships. The bullets bounced off, like raindrops. The ships did not even notice the attacks. Dr. Lisa Carter was still in her office when the beam found her building. She felt her body become heavy and slow. She could not move her arms or legs. Then she started to float. As she rose toward the ceiling, she saw through the window. The whole city was rising. Millions of people floated up like leaves in the wind. The alien ships opened huge doors and pulled everyone inside. Lisa tried to scream, but no sound came out. She could only watch as Denver became empty below her. General Hayes watched the satellite feed in horror. In just 6 hours, the entire city of Denver was gone. 3 million people had been taken. The ships closed their doors and began to move. Away from Earth. Track them, he ordered. I don't care where they go, track them. The ships moved faster than anything humans had ever built. In minutes, they were at the edge of space. In hours, they were gone, traveling to places humans had never seen. Amy Rodriguez hid in her basement for 2 days. When she finally came out, Denver was a giant hole in the ground. Everything was gone. The buildings, the streets, the people, even the dirt had been taken. She was one of only a few thousand people who had escaped. Most were children or old people who had been in basements or far from the city center. Amy looked at her laptop. She had been recording everything: radio signals, computer data, anything she could find. The aliens had left traces of their technology behind, small pieces of metal and strange devices that had fallen from their ships. Jake Morrison landed his plane at a small airport outside Denver. The city where his daughter lived was gone. In its place was just empty space, like someone had used a giant spoon to scoop out the earth. Other people gathered around the hole. They were crying, screaming, or just standing in silence. Everyone had lost someone. Ben Tucker had survived because he was in the police station basement when the beams came. Now he helped organize the survivors. They needed food, shelter, and most of all, they needed answers. What did they want with us? People asked. Why did they take everyone? 3 days later, they got their answer. A signal came from space. It was in English, but the voice was not human. Your species has been selected for harvest. The humans, taken from your world, will be processed for biological material and labor. Do not attempt to follow or resist. Your technology cannot reach us. We have harvested 23 species before you. You will join them in service to the HFY Collective. The message played over and over on every radio and television that still worked. The aliens wanted humans to know they were helpless, but they were wrong about humans. They did not understand what they had just done. Jake Morrison stood at the edge of the crater and made a promise to his daughter. I'm coming for you, Katie. I don't care how far they took you, I'm going to find you. Around the world, other people made the same promise. The aliens had made a mistake. They had attacked humans thinking they were weak and helpless. They would learn that humans were something else entirely. They were survivors, they were fighters, and they never gave up on their own. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin. 6 months after Denver was taken, the world looked different. People had moved underground. Every major city had tunnels now. Old subway systems became highways. Mine shafts became homes. Humanity had learned to hide. Dr. Alex Chen worked in a laboratory built inside an old coal mine in Colorado. He had been at MIT when the aliens came. Now he spent every day studying the pieces of alien technology they had found in the crater where Denver used to be. This metal is not from Earth, he told his team. It's stronger than anything we have, but it's also alive somehow. It changes when we touch it. The alien devices were small, about the size of a coin, but inside each one was technology more advanced than anything humans had ever made. Alex's job was to figure out how they worked. Colonel Sarah Blake trained soldiers in a bunker under the Rocky Mountains. She had been Special Forces before the harvest. Now she taught regular people how to fight aliens. They think we are weak, she told her trainees. They think we are just animals they can catch and use. We are going to show them they are wrong. The new human soldiers were different from old armies. They used alien technology mixed with human weapons. They learned to fight in space, on other planets, and in ways no human had ever fought before. Professor Ray Williams sat in a small room filled with computers. He was the best language expert in the world, and he had a very important job. He was learning to read alien writing. The aliens had left behind data files in their strange language. For months, Ray studied the symbols and sounds. Slowly, he began to understand what the files said. My God, he whispered when he finally read the first complete message. There are hundreds of worlds, hundreds of species they have taken. The alien database was huge. It contained information about the HFY Collective, the name of the alien empire. They ruled 847 worlds across the galaxy. They had been taking other species for thousands of years. The files showed what happened to the species they caught. Most became slaves. Others were used for experiments. Some were turned into food or fuel. All of them eventually died out. "We are not the first," Ray told the human leaders, "but we might be the first to fight back." Tony Garcia was building something impossible in a hidden factory in Nevada. Before the aliens came, he had worked for NASA. He designed rockets and satellites. Now he was building ships that could travel between stars. "The alien technology shows us how to bend space," he explained to General Hayes. "We can make our own faster-than-light engines. We can go anywhere in the galaxy." It sounded crazy, but Tony was making it work. He took human engineering and combined it with alien science. The result was something neither species had made alone. Kelly Brooks moved through the darkness like a ghost. She had been CIA before the harvest. Now she coordinated resistance groups all over the world. Her job was to make sure everyone worked together. "The French have found alien metal in Paris," she reported. "The Chinese are building weapons in their tunnels. The Russians have decoded alien power systems. Everyone is preparing." Humanity was changing fast. Countries that had been enemies now worked together. Everyone understood that the aliens were the real enemy now. Jake Morrison had changed too. The pilot who lost his daughter had become something harder. He volunteered for the first human enhancement program. Dr. Alex Chen studied him carefully. "We can make you stronger, faster, better, able to survive in space. But we don't know all the risks." "I don't care about the risks," Jake said. "I just want to get my daughter back." The enhancement process was painful. They injected Jake with alien technology that changed his body. His bones became stronger. His blood could carry more oxygen. His brain could process information faster. When it was over, Jake was still human. But he was a new kind of human, built for war among the stars. Amy Rodriguez had grown up fast in 6 months. The teenager who loved computers was now one of the world's top experts on alien technology. She worked with Ray Williams to understand the alien database. "I found something important," she told the human leaders. "The aliens can control other species with their technology, but they can't control us." The alien files showed that every species they had conquered could be controlled with neural implants. The devices changed how their brains worked, making them obedient slaves. "Human brains are different," Amy explained. "Our neural patterns are too complex. Their control technology doesn't work on us. That's why they just took us instead of trying to control us." This was huge news. It meant that humans could not be turned into obedient slaves like other species. They would have to be kept in cages or killed. Ben Tucker now led a group of survivors who helped build the underground cities. He organized supply lines, communication networks, and escape routes. If the aliens came back, humans would be ready to hide or fight. "We have connected every major city underground," he reported, "from New York to Los Angeles, London to Tokyo. If they attack one place, we can move people to safety through the tunnels." The underground cities were like a hidden world beneath the earth. Millions of people lived there now, working on weapons, technology, and plans for fighting back. Dr. Lisa Carter had survived the harvest by hiding in her basement. Now, she worked on something terrible but necessary. She was making weapons that could kill aliens. "Their biology is different from ours," she explained, "but all life has weaknesses. I am learning to make viruses and poisons that will hurt them, but not us." It was dark work, but Lisa had seen her friends and colleagues float away into the alien ships. She knew what the aliens did to the species they caught. She would not let it happen to more humans. The first test of human faster-than-light technology happened on a cold day in December. Tony Garcia's team had built a small ship, just big enough for one person. Jake Morrison volunteered to be the test pilot. The enhanced human climbed into the experimental ship and activated the alien-human hybrid engine. For a moment, nothing happened. Then space twisted around the ship like water going down a drain. In an instant, Jake was gone. 30 seconds later, the ship appeared again. Jake was alive and smiling. "It works," he said over the radio. "I went to the moon and back. The trip took 5 seconds." The room full of scientists and soldiers erupted in cheers. Humans could now travel faster than light. They could go anywhere in the galaxy, but they were not ready yet. The aliens had huge fleets and thousands of years of experience. Humanity needed to be smarter and stronger. Over the next months, humans built more ships and trained more soldiers. They made new weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology. They learned everything they could from the alien database. Most importantly, they united like never before. Every human on Earth was part of the same cause now. Rich or poor, young or old, from any country or culture, they all wanted the same thing. They wanted their people back. Jake Morrison stood in the command center deep under Cheyenne Mountain. On the screens around him, he could see human activity all over the world. Ships being built, soldiers being trained, weapons being tested. "How long until we're ready?" General Hayes asked him. Jake looked at the data Amy Rodriguez had pulled from the alien files. The Kethvar Collective was huge and powerful. But they had one weakness. They had never fought a species that came back for revenge. 6 more months, Jake said. 6 months and we launched the first attack. His enhanced eyes could see details on the screens that normal humans would miss. His modified brain could process battle plans and flight paths faster than any computer. He was becoming something new, something built for war among the stars. But inside he was still a father who wanted his daughter back. The aliens thought they had harvested a weak species. They thought humans would accept their fate like all the others. They were about to learn how wrong they were. In hidden bases around the world, humanity prepared for the impossible. They were going to fight a galactic empire. They were going to cross the stars and bring their people home. And they were going to win. The human fleet appeared at the edge of the Veltar system like ghosts materializing from a nightmare. 12 ships, small compared to the massive alien vessels, but built with a combination of human engineering and stolen alien technology that made them faster and deadlier than anything the Kethvar had seen before. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, the first human starship built for war. His enhanced body felt every vibration of the ship's engines. His modified senses could detect things normal humans would miss. "Target acquired," reported Captain Maya Singh from the pilot's seat. "Kethvar mining world, just like the database," said. "Population 12 million aliens plus unknown number of harvested species." Jake studied the planet through the ship's sensors. Veltar was covered in massive mining operations. Giant machines dug into the surface, pulling out materials to build more harvest ships. But that was not what made Jake's enhanced heart beat faster. There, he pointed to a complex of buildings near the North Pole. "Processing facilities. That's where they take our people." Commander Lisa Carter, the former CDC doctor who now specialized in alien biology, checked her weapon systems. "Bioweapons are ready, Admiral. These will target Kethvar DNA specifically. They won't hurt humans or other harvested species." The plan was simple but dangerous. Humans would do what no harvested species had ever done before. They would attack a Kethvar world. Lieutenant Ryan Clark led the Marine assault teams. He had trained for months in underground facilities on Earth, learning to fight in alien environments. His soldiers were enhanced like Jake, stronger and faster than normal, humans. "Remember," Ryan told his troops over the communication system, "we're not just here to destroy, we're here to rescue. Every human we find comes home with us." Chief Engineer Paul Davis monitored the ship's systems from the engine room. The combination of human and alien technology was still experimental. One wrong move and the whole ship could explode. "Engines are stable," he reported. "But I don't know how long this hybrid system will last in combat." The Kethvar detected the human ships too late. They had never expected a harvested species to develop faster than light travel. Their defense systems were designed to fight other advanced civilizations, not desperate refugees seeking revenge. "Unknown vessels," came a transmission in broken English. "You will leave this system immediately. Harvested species are forbidden from possessing interstellar capability." Jake Morrison smiled coldly. "This is Admiral Morrison of the human fleet. We're here for our people. Surrender now and we might let some of you live. The alien commander's response was immediate. Impossible. Humans are level 2 harvested species. You cannot possess military technology. Let us show you what humans can do, Jake replied. The battle began with the Kethvar launching their standard attack pattern. Massive energy beams that had destroyed countless alien fleets over the centuries fired at the human ships. But human ships moved differently. They twisted and turned in ways that confused alien targeting systems. The human pilots had learned to fight like no other species had ever fought. Maya Singh threw her ship into a spinning dive that no Kethvar pilot would attempt. The energy beams missed, and the Retribution fired back with weapons that combined human creativity and alien power. Direct hit on their command ship, reported the weapons officer. Their shields are down 40%. The Kethvar were shocked. Their weapons should have destroyed the human ships easily. Instead, the small human fleet was tearing through their defenses like they were made of paper. Ryan Clark's Marines launched in assault pods toward the surface of Veltar. The pods were built to survive crash landings in hostile environments. Inside, enhanced human soldiers prepared for ground combat against an enemy they had never faced directly. 30 seconds to landing, Ryan announced. Remember, we're faster and stronger than they are. Use that advantage. The pod smashed into the ground near the processing facilities. Instantly, the human soldiers were out and moving. They wore armor that combined human military technology with alien materials, making them nearly invisible to Kethvar sensors. The aliens defending the facility had never fought humans before. They expected the harvested species to be weak and afraid. Instead, they faced soldiers who moved like ghosts and fought like demons. Ryan's enhanced reflexes let him dodge alien weapons fire and return shots with deadly accuracy. His soldiers spread out using tactics the aliens had never seen. They hid and ran, used the environment as cover, and coordinated attacks that confused the defenders. Processing facility secured, Ryan reported. Jake, you need to see this. Inside the facility, the humans found horrors that made even enhanced soldiers feel sick. Thousands of beings from different species were kept in cages, waiting to be processed into biological material or turned into slave workers. In one section, Jake found what he was looking for. Humans from Denver, kept in suspended animation chambers. They were alive but unconscious, waiting to be processed. Katie, Jake whispered, looking at the chamber holding his 16-year-old daughter. She looked the same as the day she was taken, but there were alien devices attached to her body. Dr. Lisa Carter arrived with the rescue teams. I can reverse the alien technology, she said, studying the devices, but it will take time. These people have been altered. As Lisa worked to free the human prisoners, the battle in space continued. The human fleet was outnumbered, but they were winning through superior tactics and the element of surprise. Amy Rodriguez, now 19 and serving as the fleet's communication specialist, intercepted alien messages. Admiral, they're calling for reinforcements. We need to finish this fast. Jake made a decision that would change the war. Instead of just rescuing the humans and leaving, he ordered his forces to capture the entire facility. We're not just here to save our people, he announced to his fleet. We're here to send a message. This is what happens when you mess with humans. The human soldiers captured alien technology, alien weapons, and most importantly, alien prisoners. For the first time in Kethvar history, members of their species were taken captive by a harvested race. Paul Davis worked frantically to download the facility's computer systems. I'm getting their communication networks, supply routes, and coordinates for other facilities. This is intelligence gold. But the biggest shock came when Amy Rodriguez broke into the alien communication network and broadcast a message across the entire Kethvar collective. This is humanity speaking. Her voice went out to thousands of alien worlds. You took our people from Denver. We came and took them back. This is just the beginning. We're coming for all of our people, and we're going to destroy anyone who stands in our way. The message was heard on 847 worlds. For the first time in their history, the Kethvar collective felt fear. The human fleet prepared to leave Veltar, but they were not leaving empty-handed. They had rescued 2,147 humans from the processing facilities. They had captured alien technology and weapons. They had freed 3 other species that had been held as slaves. Most importantly, they had proven something that terrified the aliens. Humans could fight back. Humans could win. As the UES Retribution prepared to jump back to Earth, Jake Morrison held his daughter Katie in the medical bay. She was alive, but the alien experiments had changed her. She was stronger now, faster, and her eyes glowed with an inner light. "Dad," she whispered, "I remember everything. What they did to us, what they're planning to do to Earth, we have to stop them." Jake nodded. The rescue mission had been a success, but it was just the beginning. The aliens had 844 worlds left, and millions of humans were still prisoners. "We will, Katie. We're going to make them pay for what they did." The Battle of Veltar was over, but the war was just beginning. Across the galaxy, the HFY Collective realized they had made a terrible mistake. They had harvested a species that would not accept defeat. Humanity was no longer prey. They had become predators, and they were hunting for revenge. The news of Veltar spread across both human and alien networks. On Earth, people celebrated the first victory. In alien space, the HFY began to understand what they were really facing. They were not fighting a weak, harvested species. They were fighting humans, and humans never gave up their own. The galaxy was about to change forever. 2.5 years after the harvest of Denver, the galaxy was on fire. Human fleets struck at HFY worlds like lightning, appearing without warning and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. What had started as a rescue mission for one city had become a war that shook the foundations of the oldest galactic empire. Fleet Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of humanity's new flagship, the UES Vengeance. The ship was 3 times larger than the original Retribution, built with technology stolen from dozens of alien worlds. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of 47 human fleets spread across HFY space. "Status report," Jake ordered. General Amy Rodriguez, the former teenage hacker who now commanded humanity's cyber warfare division, highlighted different systems on the galactic map. Fleet 7 just took the Mordek system. Fleet 15 is attacking the supply depot at Kolvar. Fleet 23 freed another processing world at Hextar. Each victory brought more freed humans home and more alien allies to their cause. The species that had been enslaved by the HFY for generations were joining the human crusade in massive numbers. "How many worlds have we liberated?" Jake asked. 231, Amy replied, "but there are still over 600 HFY worlds left, and they're starting to adapt to our tactics." Dr. Kevin Stone had been working on something that would change the nature of human soldiers forever. In his laboratory aboard the Vengeance, he had perfected the enhancement process that had been started on Jake years earlier. "The new generation of enhanced humans are incredible," he told Jake during a briefing. "Stronger than the aliens, faster reflexes, and they can survive in environments that would kill normal humans. But the most important change is psychological." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "They don't feel fear the same way normal humans do," Kevin explained. "They see combat as a puzzle to solve, not a threat to survive. It makes them perfect soldiers, but I worry about what it makes them as people." Captain Nicole Johnson had a different job than most human officers. While others fought battles, she worked to build alliances with the species that humans had liberated from HFY slavery. "The Zephyrians are providing us with 50 warships," she reported from the bridge of her diplomatic vessel. "The Cortani have given us access to their manufacturing worlds. The Velnox are sharing their stealth technology." The alliance was growing faster than anyone had expected. Species that had been enslaved for centuries saw humans as their liberators. They wanted to join the fight against their former masters. Commander Beth Murphy ran humanity's intelligence operations from a hidden base that moved between star systems. Her job was to track down the leadership of the HFY Collective and find their weaknesses. "I've located their High Council," she reported to Jake during a secure communication. "They're on the homeworld of HFY Prime, protected by the largest fleet in the galaxy. But I found something else. Beth's intelligence network had discovered that the HFY were not united. Many of their outer worlds were beginning to surrender rather than face human attacks. The Empire was cracking under pressure. Some of their leaders want to negotiate, Beth continued. They're offering to return all human prisoners and leave our solar system alone. Jake's response was immediate and cold. No negotiations, no deals. They made their choice when they harvested Denver. The war had changed Jake Morrison from a grieving father into something harder. His enhanced body and mind made him an efficient killer, but his hatred for the aliens made him relentless. His daughter Katie had also changed since her rescue from Veltar. The alien experiments had left her with abilities that no normal human possessed. She could interface directly with alien technology and sense things that others could not. "Dad, I can feel them," she told Jake one day, as they stood on the bridge of the Vengeance. The other humans still trapped in their processing worlds. They're calling for help. Katie had become Jake's most valuable asset in planning rescue missions. Her hybrid nature let her understand alien technology in ways that pure humans could not. The battle for the Therian system was typical of how the war had evolved. 3 human fleets, supported by ships from 6 different liberated species, attacked the heavily defended Kethvar stronghold. The aliens had learned from their early defeats. They no longer underestimated human tactics, but they still could not match human adaptability. General Ryan Clark led the ground assault on Therian 3, where intelligence suggested a major processing facility was hidden underground. His Marines were all third-generation enhanced humans, faster and stronger than even Jake's generation. "Remember," Ryan told his troops as they prepared for battle, "we're not just fighting for revenge anymore. We're fighting for every species the Kethvar have enslaved. We're fighting to make sure this never happens again." The enhanced Marines moved through the alien facility like ghosts. Their weapons were hybrids of human and alien technology, designed to be lethal against Kethvar biology while harmless to other species. What they found in the deep levels of the facility made even enhanced soldiers pause. Thousands of beings, from dozens of species, including humans, were being processed into biological fuel for the alien war machine. "This ends now," Ryan said, activating charges that would destroy the facility after all prisoners were evacuated. But the Kethvar had a surprise waiting. As the human ships prepared to leave Therian, a massive alien fleet appeared. It was the largest force they had ever sent against humanity. 200 ships, reported the sensor operator aboard the Vengeance. "They're using a new formation we haven't seen before." The battle that followed lasted 18 hours and became known as the Turning Point. Human fleets found themselves outnumbered for the first time since the war began. Jake Morrison made a decision that shocked both his own people and the aliens. Instead of retreating, he ordered every human fleet in the sector to converge on Therian. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison. We make our stand here. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten humanity." 90 human ships and 300 Allied vessels faced off against the largest Kethvar fleet ever assembled. The battle was brutal, with both sides taking massive losses, but humanity had advantages the aliens could not match. Human pilots flew their ships in ways that defied conventional tactics. Enhanced human soldiers boarded alien vessels and fought hand-to-hand in the corridors. Most importantly, the liberated species fought with a fury born from centuries of slavery. The Kethvar fleet was destroyed. For the first time in their history, they had committed their best forces to a battle and lost completely. The victory at Therian had consequences across the galaxy. 50 Kethvar worlds surrendered in the following month. Their outer territories began declaring independence. The empire that had ruled for thousands of years was collapsing. Amy Rodriguez intercepted a communication from the Kethvar High Council that changed everything. "They're planning to abandon their outer worlds and concentrate all their forces around their homeworld," she reported. "They want to make a final stand at Kethvar Prime." Jake studied the intelligence reports. Kethvar Prime was the most heavily defended world in the galaxy. It was surrounded by automated defense platforms protected by the largest fleet remaining to the aliens, and shielded by technology that no enemy had ever penetrated. "How many humans do our intelligence reports suggest are still held there?" he asked. Beth Murphy checked her files. "At least 500,000, probably more." It's where they take their most valuable prisoners. Katie Morrison looked up from the alien device she was studying. Her hybrid senses could detect things through technology that others could not. Dad, there's something else. The Kethvar aren't just planning to defend their homeworld. They're planning to destroy it rather than let us take it. They'd rather kill everyone, including the prisoners, than face defeat. The room fell silent. After years of war, humanity faced its greatest challenge. The final battle would be at Kethvar Prime, but victory might mean the death of everyone they were trying to save. Jake Morrison looked around the command center at the faces of his officers. These people had followed him across the galaxy, fighting battles that should have been impossible to win. Then we better make sure we win fast, he said. Signal all fleets. Tell our allies to prepare for the final battle. We're going to Kethvar Prime, and we're bringing everyone home. The order went out across human space and to all their allied species. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon that humanity and their allies possessed would be needed for the assault on the Kethvar homeworld. The war that began with the harvest of one human city was about to end with the battle for the capital of a galactic empire. Humanity had come so far from the desperate survivors hiding in underground tunnels. Now they commanded fleets that spanned the galaxy, but the hardest battle was still ahead of them. The greatest fleet in galactic history assembled at the edge of the Kethvar Prime system. Over 2,000 ships from 47 species, all united under human command. At their head flew the UES Vengeance, carrying Supreme Admiral Jake Morrison, and the hopes of every being who had ever been enslaved by the Kethvar Collective. 3 years had passed since Denver was harvested. The desperate father searching for his daughter had become the leader of a galactic revolution. His enhanced body and mind had been forged by war into something that was still human, but more than human. Final approach to Kethvar Prime, announced Captain Maya Singh from the pilot station. Defensive systems are already targeting us. I count over 5,000 automated weapons platforms and at least 800 alien ships. Jake studied the holographic display showing the Kethvar homeworld. It was beautiful, covered in gleaming cities that had stood for thousands of years. But he knew what lay beneath that beauty. Processing facilities, slave camps, and the command centers that had ordered the destruction of countless species. Admiral Lisa Carter commanded the bioweapons division from her own ship. The former CDC doctor had become an expert in creating weapons that could target specific alien species while leaving others unharmed. Bioweapons are ready, she reported. These will target only Kethvar DNA. They won't hurt humans or any of our allied species. But Jake, once we release them, there's no going back. This will be extinction level for the Kethvar. General Ryan Clark led the largest marine force ever assembled by humans. Enhanced soldiers from dozens of different batches, each more capable than normal humans could imagine. They were ready to storm the most heavily defended world in the galaxy. Ground forces are ready, Ryan reported. We have assault teams prepared for every major facility on the planet. Priority targets are the processing centers and the main command complex. Katie Morrison stood beside her father on the bridge. The teenage girl who had been harvested from Denver was now 20 years old, and something unique in the galaxy. Her hybrid nature allowed her to interface with both human and alien technology in ways no one else could. I can sense them, Dad, she said, her enhanced senses reaching across space toward the planet. There are humans down there. Hundreds of thousands of them. They're still alive, but barely. The aliens are preparing to kill them, rather than let us rescue them. High Harvester Zektoth, the last leader of the Kethvar Collective, stood in his command center deep within the planet's crust. Around him, the remnants of his species prepared for their final battle. The harvested humans have come for us, he said to his council. In all our history, no species has ever struck back after being harvested. We underestimated them. His aide showed him reports from across their former empire. Supreme Harvester, we have lost control of 743 worlds. Only 104 remain under our command, and most of those are already evacuating. Zektoth had ruled the Kethvar for 2 centuries. He had overseen the harvest of 6 different species, but he had never faced anything like humanity. Activate the final protocol, he ordered. If we cannot rule the galaxy, we will deny it to these humans. Prepare to destroy HFY Prime and everything on it. The battle began with the largest space engagement in galactic history. Human ships and their allies struck at the defensive platforms while HFY forces tried to hold their positions. But the battle in space was not the real fight. Jake Morrison had learned from 3 years of war that humans won by doing things no other species would attempt. All ships, this is Morrison, execute Plan Omega. Plan Omega was insane by the standards of normal galactic warfare. Instead of fighting through the orbital defenses, the human fleet would punch directly through them and land on the planet's surface. Maya Singh threw the Vengeance into a dive that would have been impossible for any other pilot. The massive ship plunged through the defensive grid, taking damage but staying intact through superior human engineering and alien technology. Behind her, 2,000 other ships followed the same impossible path. They took heavy losses, but enough made it through to land armies on HFY Prime itself. Ryan Clark's enhanced Marines hit the ground running. They moved through the alien cities like a force of nature, striking at processing facilities and command centers with precision that stunned the defenders. First processing center secured, Ryan reported as his soldiers freed thousands of prisoners from dozens of species, moving to Target 2. But the HFY had one final surprise. As the human forces spread across their homeworld, Zektoth activated weapons that had been hidden for centuries. Planet killer charges are armed, he announced to his remaining forces. In 1 hour, HFY Prime will be destroyed. The humans will win nothing but ashes. Katie Morrison felt the activation of the alien doomsday weapons through her hybrid senses. Dad, they're going to destroy the planet. All the prisoners will die unless we stop them in the next hour. Jake faced an impossible choice. He could order his forces to retreat and save the fleet, or stay and risk everything in a desperate attempt to save the prisoners. All units, this is Morrison. We have 1 hour to shut down their doomsday weapons and evacuate all prisoners. We're not leaving anyone behind. What followed was the most desperate hour in human history. Enhanced soldiers fought through underground complexes while tech specialists worked to disable alien technology they barely understood. Lisa Carter's bioweapons were released into the planet's atmosphere. Across HFY Prime, the alien defenders began to fall as viruses specifically designed to target their DNA spread through their population. Amy Rodriguez led teams of human hackers in cyber warfare against the alien computer systems. I'm trying to shut down their planet killer charges, but their security is incredible. Paul Davis and his engineers worked frantically to evacuate prisoners while fighting continued around them. Human ships landed in the middle of battle zones to pick up refugees from dozens of species. With 30 minutes left, Katie Morrison made a decision that changed everything. She interfaced directly with the alien command network, using her hybrid nature to penetrate security that no normal human could bypass. I can shut down their weapons, she told her father. But I'll have to link completely with their system. I might not come back. Jake looked at his daughter, the girl he had crossed the galaxy to save. Katie, no, we'll find another way. There is no other way, Dad. You taught me that humans protect each other. That's what I'm doing. Before Jake could stop her, Katie connected her consciousness to the alien network. Her human mind, enhanced by alien technology, fought through digital defenses that had protected the HFY for millennia. In the depths of the planet, Zektoth felt his systems failing. Impossible. Nothing can penetrate our core defenses. But Katie Morrison was not just human or just alien. She was something new, something the HFY had never encountered. Her consciousness spread through their network like fire, shutting down weapons and opening prison cells across the planet. Planet killer charges disabled, Amy Rodriguez reported with amazement. All prison facilities are opening. Katie did it. The evacuation became a race against time as human ships landed all over HFY Prime to pick up freed prisoners. Humans, Zephyrians, Cortani, Velnox, and dozens of other species who had been held captive were finally going home. Zektoth made one final attempt to salvage victory from defeat. He activated the last weapon his people possessed, a biological agent designed to kill every non-Kethvar on the planet. But Lisa Carter had anticipated this. Her bioweapons had already immunized all the rescue teams. The alien weapon killed only empty air. "It's over," Jake told the alien leader over an open communication channel. "Surrender now and some of your people might survive." Zektoth looked around his command center. Most of his staff were dead from Lisa's bioweapons. His fleets were destroyed. His empire was gone. "You have destroyed us," he said to Jake, "but you have become like us. You have committed genocide. How are you better than we were?" Jake Morrison, the father who had started this war to save his daughter, looked at the view screen showing the dying alien world. For a moment he felt the weight of what humanity had done. But then he remembered Denver. He remembered the millions of people who had been harvested. He remembered the 23 species that had been driven extinct by the Kethvar. "We're better because we only destroy those who destroy others," Jake replied. "Your people chose to be predators. You chose to harvest peaceful species. We just chose to stop you." The last ships lifted off from Kethvar Prime carrying the final load of refugees. Katie Morrison was among them, alive but changed by her experience in the alien network. She would never be fully human again, but she had saved hundreds of thousands of lives. As the human fleet departed, Kethvar Prime burned behind them. The bioweapons had killed most of the planet's population. The few survivors would spend their remaining years in a dead world, the last remnants of an empire that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. The war was over. Humanity had achieved total victory, but victory came with a price. In destroying the Kethvar Collective, humans had become the dominant military power in the galaxy. The species they had liberated looked to them for leadership. The responsibility was overwhelming. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Vengeance as it jumped.